Hello, my Hellions, and welcome back to Warframe. The Warframiest of builds, the builds of Warframe. Yes. Today, we're going to be looking at the Derra Vandel. Now, the Derra is a invasion-based weapon. In comparison to its lesser counterpart, it is better in literally every way. So, the Derra Vandel is actually a built weapon with parts, much like how a prime weapon is. You gather the parts, grab the blueprint, and you build it together in your foundry, rather than just a normal one where you just buy the blueprints, get the materials, and you build it that way. The Derra Vandel, its components can be found in invasions from time to time. It can be kind of a pain in the ass to get, but it is doable. Still in the game, you can still do it, and it is very, very slender. Like, someone put this gun on a damn diet. Like, overly so. But anyway.
Well put together, operator. Now get out there and
cut down the...
and make the Lotus proud.
You follow my builds, you definitely will. But anyway, the Derra Vandel is a status-based weapon. Its crit chance is not really that great to speak of, but it is a puncture-based weapon that is also status. Clip of 60, fire rate good, and its reloads bearable. So, that being said, we have done a little bit of work on this gun, and it's going to take a little while. It's a 6th form build, unfortunately, but it is definitely worth it. This thing does do quite a bit of damage. Given the fact that it is a Derra. Even though that it is a Vandal, it's still a Derra. So, serration, right off the bat. Well, before we do this, let me say, I do not do Riven mods in my builds because they are extremely random, of how random they are. Because of what Riven I get, I could get one type of Riven that has a certain set of stats that is wonderful for me, and max it out, and that's just me. You could get the exact same Riven and have a completely different set of stats. Riven mods are extremely random. But if you were to get a Riven for this mod, or for frick's sake, Riven mod for this gun, if I could speak for the damn, you would need damage, multi-shot, something that deals with status chance, and or some form of element, which helps greatly. As your negative, you could do negative on something on its critical. The reason why I say it's critical this time is because it doesn't have good critical to begin with. If you take away something that wasn't there to begin with, it doesn't harm you at all. And when you get a negative on a Riven mod, it actually ups the positives on the others. So it works. Multi-shot, damage, some form of elemental mod, and or a status chance boost. As the negative, it could do slightly less accuracy, slightly less fire rate perhaps, a little bit less on the puncture, or a little bit less on, like, say, of a slash or an impact, something like that. As long as the negative takes away from something that is not important or is not there to begin with, there is nothing really to worry about, okay? So, on to the build. Serration, base damage, mandatory. You will get it later on in the mid-game. Heavy caliber, corrupted mod, base damage again. You will definitely want this. It is a corrupted mod. You'll find it in Derra vaults. Just go into the region chat or a recruiting chat and find someone that does Derra vaults. You'll be able to do it that way. Primed cryo rounds. It is found from borrow key tier, as it is a prime mod. If you do not have a primed cryo rounds, thank you. You can do the cryo rounds, the normal one. Works just as good. Split chamber, it is mandatory, as I say, as it does more bullets for less ammo. Brilliant. Infected clip and Stormbringer as different amounts of elemental damage, as raw pure damage. We do the 90s this time because these two, this one does Toxin and status as Malignant Force, and Thermite rounds as Heat and status. Malignant Force, you would actually get, if I'm not mistaken, some of these Nightmare, like 60 60% chance mods and elemental mods, you will actually get from Void Vor, from running Mott Void. By the time 5 minutes run around, Void Vor should pop up. You gotta kill him by hitting his midsection, and he will drop some form of elemental mod like this. Okay, mainly he drops the toxin one, but sometimes he drops the other ones as well. But that's just one place where you can kill a boss and farm it. They come from Nightmare missions as well. Infect Clip and Stormbringer, you could switch it out for Hellfire, but I have it set as Viral and Radiation, so it works for everything in my preference. So you could actually switch these around to where it does different types of damage. So you'll find these two later in the game, mid-game. You'll find these two in Nightmare missions or Void Vor. That's mid to late game-ish. Or you could have someone taxi you and find it on the trade chat or farm it with them, whichever the case is. All these mods are fairly easy to get. The only ones that would be moderately difficult would be the Heavy Caliber from Void or Delric Vaults, Prime Cryo Rounds, frick's sake, from Baro Ketir, the Thermite and Malignant Force and Rounds. Was the only four that would be moderately irritating to obtain, but not too horribly irritating to where it would be impossible. It is doable. So, alright. So, that deals for the build. Let's go test it out. Alrighty. We are here. Alrighty, so right off the bat, we'll do a Butcher Eximus level 1. We'll do this. Boop, boop. And we'll try a 50 right off the bat with you. Excellent. Simulate. Let's do this. This thing has a clip of 60. What do you do? About 5 bullets. That works just grand for this thing. Alrighty, so let's try and do the settings up again, this time to 100. Damn it. Much better. Okay. Now, so a little less, about 7 bullets that time. And that was a level 100 Eximus. Settings. Simulate. We're just climbing right off the ranks. So, maybe about 13 to 15 bullets for a level 150 Butcher Eximus. Let's go and try an Ancient Healer Eximus at level 140. Yeah. Oh, jeez, Pete. So, this is kind of a pain in the ass. So it takes about a clip and a half to bring down a level 140 Ancient Healer Eximus, which I'm not really surprised, honestly. It is an assault rifle that doesn't have very high base damage, and it's not specified to kill infested. So, but still, a clip and a half for a level 140 Eximus. That's not too shabby. I'm not gonna lie. I will, however, in later days be able to make these levels a bit higher, because the levels are based off of Master Rank, and I'm only a level 24. That's the highest Master Rank that is obtainable right now, because that's just how little amount of stuff that's in there. We don't really know what the Master Rank cap is. I'm going to go off and assume it's level 30, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Let's go and try, hey, and Hellion. Maybe he's part of us. He's one of our family. It's Hellion! Alrighty. That's a heavy gunner, and we're going to try you and put you at 100. Boop, boop, and a boop. Excellent. Let's try a heavy gunner, a normal one. At level 100. I keep running into that wall. It's pissing me off. So it takes almost 2 clips to bring down a normal 100 eximus, or a normal 100 heavy gunner. I'd hate to see what it'll do on a heavy gunner eximus. Level 100, simulate. This time we're going to use my rule. I have a max strength rhino, so this ought to do good. Okay, so 1 clip will take down a level 100 heavy gunner eximus with a 150% damage boost from a max strength rhino. I say as I fall to my death. Get up there. Okay, so let's try that again. But this time, no rhino roar. The Derra Vandel is not the greatest weapon to begin with, but the fact that we can get it this far anyways, even without a Riven mod, is quite a feat by itself. Okay, so 1 clip took out like a third of its health. Good grief. Okay, so it took 2 and 2/3 of a clip, 2 and 2/3 of a clip to bring down a level 100 heavy gunner eximus. Okay, let's see how it does against a corpus. Let's try Corpus Tech or Corpus Warden. I like the Corpus Wardens better because they seem to have more health and more durability. Let's try level 100 right off the bat. Barely even half a clip to bring down one of those dudes. Let's raise up the level a bit. Damn it all, I miss that every time. It pisses me off. Okay, settings. Level. 150. That didn't do it. Of course, I'm missing a few shots. Okay, so about 1 whole clip takes down a 150 Corpus Guardian Eximus. Or Corpus. Whatever. Okay, so that was the Derra Vandel. It's not the greatest gun to begin with. It seems to do very good against normal little units. Even its Eximuses, it seems to do very good. Now, its fall-off point would be, about 120, or level 100s for heavy gunner Eximuses, and, ancient healer Eximuses. Those, see, level 100 on those, or level 150 Eximuses for little ones seems to be the things. Fall-off point, it's not as strong as the others. You have to literally blow an entire clip to kill one of these things. It's not very ammo efficient. Of course, it doesn't have a very high base damage to begin with. I would definitely consider its normal one to be mastery fodder, and its Vandal to be... It needs a buff to actually be considered late game material. Even with a really god tier Riven, it really would have to take a god tier Riven to make a Derra Vandal late game material. It would be a late mid game kind of gun. Like, it'll handle up to like 40 minutes in a normal survival. It'll handle up to 60 and 70 and 80, but it won't go anything above that. At least not with ease. You have to give yourself some kind of buff, like a Rhino Roar, Equinox buff, Trinity, well, not Trinity, some form of damage buff. You get what I'm talking about. Okay, Octavia buff, there we go. Something like that, that'll help. Okay, that aside, I'd say it's pretty good. Okay, early and mid game, late game, not so much. But anyway, I'm gonna leave this one here. Hope you all enjoyed it and learned something from it. If you guys have any tips or tricks of what kind of mods I'm missing or could use, or possibility what you may think of what it would do this or that or thus, or just want to stop by and say hi and give me some company, always welcome, always lovely, and always helpful and always nice. But anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. If you guys liked it, hit that like button, give it some love. Go to the subscribe button and become part of the Hellion family. Share with all your friends so that they can become part of the Hellion family, and that you and they will all receive information whenever a new video is out. Much like this one. Or whenever I go live or whatever. You know what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you everybody for watching, and as always, I will see all of you in the next one. Toodles!